what this is called? A conch shell and a poo. That's what we call it in Hawaii. We call it a poo.
Wait, that's our tower.
Now, in Hawaii, in the old days, the poo was real important. The poo, when you heard the sound of the poo, it was to call your attention, to tell you something was going on. In the morning, they would sound the poo, and everybody would get up and go about their daily business, do their work and all of that things. At the end of the day, when the sun was going down, they would sound the poo, and so in a little while we'll have a little try, and we'll see who can. Yeah, guys, I'll give you a chance to try and blow the poo. But in Hawaii, actually, the poo was very rare. Now, this is the poo that you see when you see they do luau's and all kinds of stuff. Now you'll see this kind of poo, but this kind of poo, this kind of conch shell actually doesn't grow here in Hawaii. This grows in the Philippines or in the South Pacific because all the islands are kind of close. There's lots of shallow reefs and coral and stuff, so they grow this kind. Here in Hawaii, poo would actually look like this. Because in Hawaii, the water gets deep really fast. We only have a little bit of coral, and then the water gets deep fast. So this is a different kind of conch shell. This is the kind that would grow here. Since it was so rare, they only had a few. Only the priests and the ali'i, the chiefs and the kings and queens were allowed to have a conch shell. And if you heard the conch shell any other time than in the morning or the night when you were used to hearing it, you had to pay attention. Because, well, what if, I mean, this didn't happen very often, but what if you were just a worker and you're in the field and you're working, and the big chief, the high chief, comes walking through where you're working, and his shadow should just happen to pass on you? Well, they believed that his shadow held his mana. So his mana would go into you. You had to give his mana back right away, and so you would be put to death immediately. It didn't happen very often because people knew when they heard the sound of the conch shell, something's going on. So they didn't just not listen. That's a lesson in not listening. Oh, well, they're not paying attention. They paid attention, looked around, what's happening, who's coming, and then they could tell whoever the chief or the chiefess or whatever their rank, a priest or a ali'i was. Then they would do whatever protocol or whatever rules they gave for those people. So if you heard the conch shell in the middle of the day, you had to pay attention to what's going on, okay?
Okay.
But since the chiefs and the ali'i and the priests were the only guys who could actually have a conch shell, what do you think that the rest of the guys did? We didn't have any metal here. There was no glass. There were no gems or diamonds or hard stuff like that. We only had the stuff that grew or the stuff that was right at hand to use. So, guess what they used?
I can't say.
They used a piece of bamboo. And they could sound, this can sound very much like a conch shell.
Yeah.
Now, if you were a warrior, say you were a warrior, and it was your job. Okay, I'm saying it's your job. I'm giving you a message. I want you to run across the mountain, and you're going to go run into the next village, and you're going to tell this message to the chief. And you couldn't just go run into somebody's village. You had to announce that you're coming. So they would carry this. This is light. They could just stick it on their belt, stick it in their back, and take it with them. Anybody could have bamboo. It was all over the place. And so, and this echo. So if you were up coming down the top of the mountain and you blew this poo up there, you would hear it through the valley. Oh, somebody's coming. And then what would you do?
Watch.
You'd look around and see what's happening. It just was a notification to you. You could be way over there, and then you'd hear it. Well, oh, somebody's coming. So that's what it was really important. They didn't have telephone. You couldn't call up and say, hey, you know, I'm coming down. Right. So you had to announce it this kind of way. And we'll get to play in a little while, and we'll try all of these, okay? This is a ohe.
I know shoot.
Very good. Ohe hano. Ohe is bamboo, hano is a flute, and ihu is what?
No.
Your nose. Okay. Then you know, if it's a nose flute, most flutes they play with your mouth, but here in Hawaii they play it with your nose, right?
Right.
So you got to block off one nostril and blow through the other one, like a bottle. You know when you blow into a bottle and it makes a sound? It's like that. So, of course, now that everybody's, now the camera's on, I'll My son is the one who can play this
Why don't you
really
try out the
beautiful.
conch shell?
I will, because you know what? I'm gonna save the conch shell. When I'm done telling stories, we're gonna all go over there and we're gonna try blowing them. So everybody will get a chance. Okay?